What is up, everybody? Welcome to episode 3 of Taiyo. Taiyo is an Animal Crossing podcast. It's super chill, super relaxed, and of course, super fun. Today I'm joined by Honey, or whatever you want to say. If you have a different name, tell them down right now. Introduce yourself.
So you might know me as Honey from AC Honey on Twitter. Everybody calls me B. My real name is Brittany. It's kind of southern, so it's a little hard for everybody to say, which is kind of where the Honey initially came from for my username.
Nice. All right, cool. So that's actually interesting because I didn't know that, so the more you know. But today we're talking about just a few features we want to see, and by a few I mean a lot of features we want to see from Animal Crossing Switch, because, you know, we're super hyped and excited. And Honey, you actually got your ideas from people on Twitter, right?
Yes. I've actually had a few kind of correlating myself, and I thought it would be a good idea, keep the community involved, kind of see what all they're wanting to hear from it, what are they wanting to see from it, and kind of see how everybody's just on the same page, really, about what we want and what we need from this game coming up, from all of the, not necessarily mistakes that the previous games have made, but from where they've come to where they need to be.
Yeah. All right, cool, yeah. I mean, I wish I would have thought of the same thing, honestly. I didn't think of that, but that's actually a really awesome idea, and so I'm glad you did that. At least we got more people introducing some ideas as well here, because I was looking through that on the Twitter, and I was trying to keep it quiet. I didn't want to say anything. But those were some. I heard because
you were like bats, and I was like, oh yeah, the bats are finally coming through. Everybody wants the bat.
Yeah. No, it was actually really interesting. There was actually some really good ideas on there, so I'm really excited to hear what you got. But I guess I'll let you start off then, actually, since might as well. You're the guest.
Okay. Well, I have some sheets over here, and now I don't know where they are. So, how about we start with our release predictions and scenarios? Well, I find those pages.
Alright, cool.
You kind of talked about before that you hoped it might be, spring, summer.
Yeah, definitely.
And
I do hope it will be.
The differences between if it might come out during holiday and everything like that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because I'm thinking it might actually be towards the summer. I don't think it'll be early in the year or late in the year. I think it'll be somewhere in that middle. So.
Right. See, I think the big thing is going to be, does Nintendo want to make their money right away, have that instant gratification, or are they going to reach past their target audience and blow past any predicted sales that they could have ever expected? So if they come out with, say, spring, summer release, just like how you said, a lot of their target audience is kids, people that want to play in the summertime, they just want to relax, they have lots of time to do it in that frame. Then they hit us with the sales special with all the accessories and everything at Christmas. And then going into next year, because it's such a loaded year for Nintendo, they can keep trickling out those accessories like they like to do. We've seen it before with Amiibo figures, the cards, even now on your My Nintendo shop. You can cash in your coins for a background or a calendar and, different supplies in Pocket Camp. They like to trickle that little bit of feed out. So if they do it that way, I think they're going to exceed everything that they already know that they're going to hit if they release in Q4 for Christmas.
I gotcha. And I mean, I think that they are masters at getting that money because, Pocket Camp itself has made $100 million. It's their best selling, or I guess their best profiting app on phones, which is actually really impressive. But I think that...
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if they are going to do the winter, fall, winter, Q4 thing. I think that that's going to be reserved for Luigi's Mansion 3, Pokemon and Gen 8. I think that's going to be reserved for some of those bigger games, I think. I think that it will be somewhere in the summer, though, because if you've looked at their Twitter the last couple days, they've been announcing, for example, Yoshi's Crafted World was one of the ones where people were 50-50 if that was going to be in the January Direct or, February Direct or whatever. And they revealed the date and the single player trailer right there yesterday and the day before. They've also released 10 other trailers or something. So I think we're starting to see them give more room to other games, and I think that could possibly lead towards an Animal Crossing Direct soon, and then possibly an Animal Crossing Switch release in the summer, because I think that at the end of the year it's definitely going to be crowded. So I don't know if they're going to be able to do it. I mean, it's Nintendo, of course they'll be able to do it, but it just depends on if they want to do it, you know, like what you were saying.
Wow.
Yeah, so I don't think that it's going to be a winter release. I think it's going to be summer, so yeah.
I don't think it's going to be a winter release.
Oh, okay, you don't? Okay, cool. Then why is that?
I think it just depends on whether they're going to try to get their money back this year instantly, or if they're going to try to reach past that and they're trying to go towards all the summer, attributes, having more time to play, having more people, and then just releasing it with some type of bonus or bundle or something at Christmas too. That's going to get like their double sales in. So I think they can go way past their expected year if they market correctly, because we saw the horrible marketing that was done with like the Amiibo cards, with Amiibo Festival, with Happy Home Designer.
I'm going to tell you,
barely anything about it.
I don't think I've ever seen an advertisement, besides searching it up on YouTube, I don't think I've ever seen an advertisement for any of those things you just listed. I really do not.
Know.
Like, there was nothing.
I was working at GameStop when those were released, specifically so I could get the deal and get all my discounts on everything. And even the release parties and just the shippers and all of the advertising stuff that we would normally get in for games, we barely got any of it for Animal Crossing at all. I was one of like 2 people that were there for the Amiibo card release, and I ended up buying 1 box, and the other girl there got the other box, and then that was it. That was it for that store. That's all that Nintendo sent out to these stores, and they didn't expect the cards to go over so well. So even now, there's a lot of people that always ask about the Sanrio releases, the RV releases. When are those going to come back out? It's so hard to find them.
I think, and that's going with what you're saying, I think that Nintendo really hasn't looked at Animal Crossing in a way of like, oh, this is one of our biggest, like, this is our hardest hitting, franchise, up until, this people asking for a Switch release constantly. I think that now they're starting to realize that that Animal Crossing is definitely one of the biggest franchises for Nintendo, and it appeals to so many people. I think that that's probably why they did the direct reveal how they did. I think that they're definitely trying to see that now, because they did nothing for, like, those old ones, like you said. They did nothing.
Nothing. I hope it's like you remember when Mario Odyssey came out, and like I know that was like the first big Switch game and everything, but you could go into Target, you could go into Best Buy, and you would just see these huge shippers with all of the little advertising, and Cappy was on top, and it said Nintendo really big, and you'd walk all the way around these basically cardboard aisles that they had set up in the middle of their regular aisles. And it had just stickers and different types of controllers and all kinds of different Mario accessories that you didn't really need, but you kind of wanted if you were a really big Mario fan. So yeah. I really hope that that's something we see as Animal Crossing fans.
I definitely think we'll see some either new Amiibo cards or new Amiibo figures if we do have new characters. Like, I want to see the OK Motors guys come into this game.
That'd be cool.
And I think that they're going to probably put a bunch of stuff there, but I'm not sure if they're going to do a bunch of new stuff. I really wish they would, but there's so many Amiibo cards like for Animal Crossing and so many different like Amiibo figures that I haven't gotten, and I don't think I'll ever be able to get. So they don't really advertise them or keep them in stock too well. So.
Oh yeah, you can go on like the GameStop apps and everything right now, and it'll say, new pack 197. But then you try to click it and find it near you, and it's not available. You try to order it online, it's not available. Yeah. Same thing with the Amiibo figures. If it is still showing up on any of those people's pages, like Target, Best Buy, GameStop, it's not available anywhere. And even when I just went out Christmas shopping this past holiday, I was at a store that's near me in Texas called Five Below. And it's where a lot of stuff gets sent almost kind of to die. And
I know what you're talking about.
Figures. Yeah, there was a 3-pack figures there of the Amiibo figures for $5. I was like, oh my god, I wish I could like buy all of these up and send them out to people in our community that don't have them. But I mean, that's kind of just if you're looking for it, you just kind of got to go find it. It's there. Yeah. It's cheap right now, but I don't know how long that's going to continue either.
And I think it's like pushed to like those smaller stores as well, because like, none of the bigger stores that I've been to carry those. Like, I think that it's just the problem with Nintendo in general since those came out. Like, they really have not kept up on, like, the stock of, like, the amiibos or the cards or any of that. Like, I feel like they definitely need to ship some more out. Like, I think they even did that with, like, the Switch.
They
didn't have enough hardware units, and they didn't know it was going to sell so well, so they just completely ran out dry for, like, a few months. It was crazy.
Well, and it's crazy to me that their advertising and their revenue teams aren't on top of this when you look at when the game development for this actually had to start. And that's where I kind of, I will always go back to the Wii U before Switch. If you didn't have the Wii U, which I know that you mentioned that you didn't, it really is like the dinosaur Switch. You can go a little bit away from your TV and still play, not having to be on the screen and carrying it around. It does have some good quality. I actually like the controller aspect of it for like Mario Kart, and Yoshi's Woolly World was one of my favorites on there with the little Yoshi amiibo figures and everything. But if you look back at the Direct, okay, so this is going to kind of blow your mind a little bit. January, February, March, April 2015 Direct.
Oh, Lord.
Katsuya kind of mentioned that for the new Animal Crossing game, they would have to integrate new features to a hypothetical new console. So he was talking about the 3DS, right, with the amiibo integration and different things for the designing team focus.
Yep.
But what if, when he was talking about that integration, he was actually talking about the Switch, but we all just got the amiibo figures and we're just kind of, it was something shiny thrown in our faces, so we weren't thinking about what he was meaning when he was talking about that.
But what about this as well? Let me throw this out, because this has also worked for a different franchise, which I'll talk about in a second. What if he was also talking about the Wii U, though? Because, I mean, like, I feel like if you look at Breath of the Wild, right, and you look at that, that was originally supposed to come out on the Wii U, right? That's supposed to come out in, like, 2015, 2016, and they ended up they just kept pushing it back further and further, and then it made it onto the Switch. So I'm wondering, maybe they were planning originally to have an Animal Crossing game on the Wii U.
That definitely could be a possibility, because a lot of people have talked about the Animal Crossing frames that were in Mario Kart, right, when it came out. That was announced at E3 2013, and it came out in 2014. So the actual Amiibo Festival came out was announced in June, and then was pushed, like you said. It was supposed to come out in July. So it was announced in June. They were going to release it like a month later. That's how much they had on it. And then they pushed it to, I think it was September 25th.
Yeah, they like to push their games. I noticed they like to push their games back. They like to delay them, which sucks. I mean, I don't think that's going to be an issue with Animal Crossing Switch, because they didn't give us a release date yet. So I think that's a good way to do it. So,
but it is on all of the release date info. Like, if you try to pre-order it and look at GameStop, Best Buy, I'm always on the apps, so I always try to see those release dates on there. And it says the end of the year. I know that's just a placeholder, but that is kind of, just that fingers crossed hopes that it is worst case scenario, 12/31/2019.
Yeah, and I think that I was looking at those two, and I was just seeing like 2019. They didn't have like a spring or a winter or a later and early type thing. I haven't looked at that in a long time though. I've just been Googling every single day Animal Crossing Switch or Nintendo January Direct 2019. Like, I just keep Googling it. Like, even yesterday I was doing that. So I think it's just like we're so antsy and ready for this, but I think they must have started it like at the Wii U or that stage. They had to have, because we got the same, like, it looks like the assets are shared between Amiibo Festival and Pocket Camp. It looks like they're pretty similar.
Right.
And I think that those HD, assets could definitely be transferred over to a Switch game if they're not already transferred over, because there's definitely no way they're just now starting development. Like I said last episode, there's no way they're just starting development now. It definitely had to start a couple years ago, because games take like 3 years to make if you actually make, the games slow into the pace that Nintendo does.
Right. Even like Yoshi's Woolly World, it's now going to be Yoshi's Craft World. I'm interested to see how that's going to transition from Wii U to Switch, because that was originally a Wii U game. So it's going over to its new daddy, basically. Yeah,
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of these games are either being ported or are pushed back to the Switch's launch. And I think that's kind of like a testament of how the Wii U basically was a Switch, just without all the take it to the subway kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely a very similar console, and I think that the biggest issue for me was that they didn't advertise the Wii U well enough for me. Like, I felt like it was catering more towards, like, you know, like the very little kids, or like
Oh, for sure.
play Mario Party, and like that's the only things I ever saw was like, you know, Mario Party, Mario
I love
Kart.
the cross compatibility of the Wii. Just because I was a Wii owner for so long, we had so many games and everything built up on it, and then there was kind of nothing. You know, when was the last time you pulled out a Wii and actually played it? So getting to use that cross compatibility with it was a really cool feature for me, and I loved all of the Wii U games that came out. We were really big on Super Mario Maker, and we still watch Dashi on YouTube whenever he does episodes on that.
Dashi is amazing, and by the way, you're gonna be jealous, okay? He is my friend on the Switch.
What?
I literally
I'm
have
so
him
jealous.
on my Switch. I literally have him. I don't know how it happened. I think I was in like a sponsors only live stream, and he was like, "Hey, send me your friend code. I'll add you." And I was like, "All right, bet." And I sent it to him, and I got added. So I was like, "Okay, cool."
I'm so jealous that Dashi has probably screamed your name.
He actually has said my name on stream. He was like, I was like, "Huh?" I don't know about this, man. I think that the Wii U was pretty solid, and I didn't have the money at the time, and I just kind of, you know, skipped over it, because I already had a Wii, and I was like, okay, well, Wii U, and me being younger, I was like, okay, well, it's probably just a Wii with, you know, extra features, not knowing it was actually, you know, proper new console, and I just kind of skipped it, and I just went for the 3DS instead, mainly for the portability as well, because I do like portability of my consoles, so, and that's kind of where the Switch comes in.
Yeah, that's definitely just everything they're doing with it. They've made smart moves to where it's the next quality, solid gaming console. Like you talked about in the last episode, there's just so many things to it that makes it really solid. Just the way that you can switch around on it, the way that you can lay down with it, have it on the table, standing up without having to buy an extra prop or anything to stand it up.
Right.
The way you can switch around the controls, you can switch through to YouTube, your Hulu. Hopefully one day they'll get Netflix on there, but I know that's a lot of money and things like that.
Yeah, honestly, but Netflix on the Switch would be so great. So, I know a lot of people that do not have like cable or like, you know, YouTube TV or like an actual like computer that they can use Netflix with, or like a really, you know, cruddy phone that they can't use Netflix with. So putting that on the Switch, if that's their only option, because I know a lot of people that is their only option, then that'd be awesome. So.
Right. I don't even like. I think regular TV now is so outdated, and everything's pushed towards ads now. Even YouTube TV, even watching just regular YouTube episodes. You know, everybody's talking about the monetization, all of the videos and everything going on. So it's just like there's ads everywhere. I just want to see my straight content and then do whatever else I need to do in between. Yeah,
gotcha. And I think that's honestly true, because my family, we got rid of cable. We only use YouTube TV and other streaming apps. Like, I think cable is one of those outdated things nobody's going to use anymore pretty soon. So
for sure,
it's kind of like how Redbox went out whenever Netflix came in. So, you know.
Oh man, even Redbox. It's so funny to think about how they used to compete with Netflix, and you used to get the Netflix DVDs in the mail. My mom was always so crazy about ordering all her DVDs like a week in advance so she could binge her shows.
Yeah.
Like, just thinking about that, like, now blows my mind.
Yeah, because it's changed so much. Like, now they have, like, just the apps on the TVs and stuff. Like, you can get smart TVs that have Netflix on it. So it's like, there's no way Redbox is competing. They're going down, and I think that a lot of these companies are. So, but I think we've ranted long enough. I think we should get into our features we want to see from Animal Crossing Switch, because you guys, if you are still listening, because, I mean, who wouldn't?
They're still listening.
Yeah, probably, you know. If you're playing New Leaf right now or something, then yes, we're going to go ahead and talk about our new features. So if you want to get into your feature first, we'll just, like, kind of go back and forth or something. We'll figure it out. So go ahead and start it up.
Okay, so let's start at a really big one, which would be what if your town could go out to your neighborhood and then to your city. So kind of like Sims, you know, you can see out in your neighborhood, you can see how you're going to set up that neighborhood, how it's going to look, how you're going to do your neighbors' houses, things like that. And then what if you went out past that, from your own neighborhood to the quote-unquote city, then you can see your friends' neighborhoods right there and click into them and get into it that way, and then it would take you and transport you in. I like the train system in New Leaf but it kind of takes a minute, and
It's a
especially
little
for
slow,
some people that have connectivity issues, I think that could just make it a little bit easier, because then it just gets that stability going right in. Otherwise, they'll just throw you right back out to your neighborhood. There's no back and forth on the train.
So what you're...
And I know that was mentioned by November ACPC. He kind of talked about that it would be kind of like a social area, maybe like the Square and Splatoon PS3 lobby kind of thing.
Okay, so you're saying kind of like you go to the city, right? Not like Let's Go to the City, City Folk, whatever you want to call that game. But you go to that city, and it's like just a hub. I guess they could put like a fountain or something, and everyone just sits around and talks. Kind of like how the Animal Crossing Plaza looked. They could just do that with all the villagers that go into it, I guess. I mean, I can see that happening.
And your friends could be walking around there, too. Yeah. So if they had anything that they had drawn, you could upvote it. You'd see that more. And then people's platforms could be boosted off of that as well.
That would be a great way to share designs as well. Because I know right now, you have to put it into your shop or something. They have to take it home. But even then, you have to travel to their town, or you have to go through a dream address to get a design. I think that could be a really good way to share designs. You just both go to the city and just... Here's my design, boom, and you can just display some that you want to put up. So, I think that could actually work out really well.
For sure.
Yeah. All right, so, I mean, with that one out of the way, mine aren't by other people, so just keep that in mind. Let me see if there's any that kind of go with this. Not really, but I'll get my small one out of the way first. Bigger towns, because that's a necessity. I want population growing size towns. I really do. Especially because I know they're going to keep public works projects. And I think it's a little limited on how many you can have. I think it's, like 20 or something? I forgot what the limit is.
I think so. I think it's, like, right at 20, because somebody was saying that they had just hit it.
Yeah. And I know that they were talking about that on the Amino, I think. But I think that putting more public works projects in, maybe like 30 to 40 or something, and making the town huge could really work out. And I think that could also lead into having more villagers as well. So I think that could work out.
And with that, they should definitely, like, how you can see the screen once the villagers have requested the item, they should make it where you could see what isn't available yet, what you haven't unlocked, so you can, like, keep reaching towards those things and still plan out your town without wasting excess bells.
Okay, yeah, because I know that a lot of, like, YouTubers I've watched, they liked the surprise of not knowing what public works project they just unlocked, but I think that could actually work because it gives you a goal to strive for, like you just said. Right. I think that might actually work better than just, here, build a sphinx. This actually happened in my town last night. They're like, yeah, build a sphinx in the middle of this town that makes no sense, but, build one. And I'm definitely not going to build it. But now it's just sitting there on my list with, like, almost nothing else because...
you have to, like, deconstruct it, and then you just wasted a bunch of bells for nothing.
Yeah. So I'm definitely...
the villagers to be happy for a minute.
I'm not building it. Like, Graham, you can go away. I don't care. You're in the corner of my town. He's at the very bottom corner of my town against the cliff and the beach. Just, if you want to leave, leave. But wait until I plot reset first.
Oh my goodness. That's always so frustrating.
Yeah.
When you're trying to get them to move out.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Cause what, Harley, shout out to her as well. So Harley on the server, she was talking about how she didn't play for like 10 months and none of her villagers left. But every single time, I swear, every time I play for like, even like the other day, someone requested to move out. I play every single day. And someone was like, my villager Vic, he was like, yeah, I want to move out. And I was like, no, you don't want to move out. Stop. Like, I talked to you yesterday. So I don't...
one that told me he was leaving, and I was like, all right, bye. And he was like, did you just hold back a smile? For that, I'm going to stay, and we're going to become best friends.
Wait, did he...
No, I wanted to put a light there.
So you're saying that you told him he should leave, and he said, nah, I'm going to stay anyways?
Yeah, he said we're going to become best friends now.
What?
It was Ricky, that darn squirrely-eyed looking squirrel.
Squirrely-eyed looking squirrel. Dang, that's crazy. I've never had one of those. Usually, I don't tell people to move out, though, because I really like how my paths are set up. I think... Have you been in my town? I don't think you have. You haven't seen Taiyō.
I haven't yet. I just reset, so that was one of my goals with the new year. I had been trying to redo my old New Leaf forever with all the designs and patterns, and I kept getting frustrated with my paths. So I was like, New Year, I'm just going to reset. I'm going to sell off my town. I got a ridiculous amount of money for it. So now I'm redoing my town completely to be a kind of sweets university, and I'm going to play more on that later on. And, of course, I'm going to share it on Twitter.
Nice. All right, yeah, I mean, that's actually a really good idea. So I'm actually looking forward to that. Because I know that before this year, I wasn't playing New Leaf as much either. I kind of, grew out of it. So I made that challenge as well, and now I've been doing that every single day, and it's actually that and the server, playing with everyone all the time has actually really helped me with keeping myself active on the game. And I think that's definitely something, going back to that city, that's definitely something that needs to be improved upon in the new game. And I think that that's one of my features as well, is just having more interactivity. So that's what I was talking about. I think it was in the first episode, having, like, for example, the fishing tourney, or like, just like competitions that you don't actually have to be in the same town to do, or like just introducing new ways to play with other people or interact with other people would be really nice.
And it's that healthy competition, not anything like, oh, you have to spend like $1,000 in microtransactions to complete this. That's not anything about what it's about.
Exactly.
And hopefully, of course, that's a big topic, that microtransactions will stay out of Switch, because I 100% believe that Animal Crossing jumped into the phone game market. They saw how much phone games were making, and they cashed in on it while they had the chance. And now it's going to come back to us in Switch, because they have all this extra money that they can give us more things now, is what I'm hoping.
And I'm thinking that so if you think about this, right, New Leaf, started out as $30 game. It started out around there, and there were like no microtransactions, right? Of course, you could get the amiibo cards, but I'm not going to count those. But the Switch game is going to be $60 starting, which is a lot of money, and it's after they just made like $100+ million on their phone game. So I guarantee, especially with knowing how rabid people are for a new game, I think that they'll try to keep the microtransactions out. I do. And if they do try to, put in some DLC, I think it'll be like what they did with New Leaf, where they put in the free DLC, or you would go to Best Buy and you'd be able to get a free, present from Phyllis and, the post office. So I think it just kind of depends. So I don't think they'll put it in, though.
Right, for sure.
Okay.
I do hope that they make it like transferable, like with data. Like, all the Pocket Camp items, everybody's been asking what's going to go on with those, what's going to happen with them. If they did something like Happy Home Designer, where you put in your cartridge, or, with the Switch, it'll be just connecting your cloud data because you're already on my Nintendo, then it would be really cool to slowly unlock those items or have them sent over to as gifts or what have you.
Okay, I get that. I think they might also convert your... this is a long stretch. I don't know if they'll do this, but I think they could convert your Leaf tickets as well. You know how within New Leaf, where you got the Meow coupons, and you could transfer them, you can convert them into bells. I think that they might do that as well. I'm hoping they do that as well, because I have a lot of Leaf tickets that I have still on my account that I just probably not going to use.
Why do you still have Leaf tickets? How have you not spent them?
I mean, I spend them, but I get them at like the same rate. So I haven't played like a lot. Like, I don't really do a lot with my campground. I just go on there. I'm kind of casual with that. I just go on there. I just do some chores for like villagers. I do some tasks for them, and then that's pretty much it for the day. That's all I do. I think that Pocket Camp really lost hold of me, because it's so focused on just that one area and the cabin, and it's like
the designing and everything much.
And it's so needy, because you could literally just have Bob. He's like, yeah, I want this furniture. I want a gumball machine. I'm like, how about no? That does not work with my campground.
Nope, that's all I want. You don't need to talk to me now until you give me that dumbbell.
Yeah, it's like, it's kind of needy, and I really I like the idea of exterior, building. I like that idea. I just think that they did it in a way that was it was definitely a kind of like a cash grab kind of move, I'd say. Because it's definitely it's a time waster. You play it for like an hour or like, 15, 20, 30 minutes a day, and then you just stop. Or if you are like in the community, there's a huge Pocket Camp community that play like a bunch. And I really wish I had that drive, because I haven't played Pocket Camp in probably a week. So I just...
Right. And I mean, speaking on that community, a big part of that is that before even, now Isabel, the American crossing site, will share tips and tricks and things like that for events or, garden anticipations, what's coming up, little sneak peeks. Well, before, they didn't do any of that. I've been playing since October 26th of 2017.
Yeah, I got it in the Australian launch, actually, yeah. I remember.
Yeah.
I have an Android, so...
the first event, like the Rover event, was the first really big one, right?
Yeah, I think so.
What to do. Everybody on Twitter when I first went on it, because I still had a personal Twitter at that point, was kind of like, what's going on? You don't understand what to do. All of this is so hard. I had made my Animal Crossing Twitter, and I just kind of started sharing with people and kind of talking with them and being like, hey, this is what I'm doing. Hey, this is kind of like tips and tricks that are working for me. And eventually I met some other really active players. You know, of course, obviously, I got to mention AJ and Ellie, which is known as Dank, that they kind of started our community because we just kind of shared together, and then we met a few other people and kind of told them what we were doing, and then they reached out to a few more people, because that's always the big misconception during garden events, is that everybody has like 700 butterflies or 700 ladybugs or whatever the rare creature is. Everybody usually only has like 10 to 12 in their box at a time if they're sharing appropriately with their friends. So when you try to get like really big sharing communities built like that, it really goes to who the players are and who's in it. And I've been so proud to, you know, call this my home and, you know, say, hey, this is what I'm really proud of that we've done to bring all these people together and keep them playing so strong, because there is that easy accessibility for any game for it to just fall off and nobody play it anymore. If you're not having fun with it, if you're not enjoying what you're doing, instead of sitting there just looking at your numbers and looking at your streams and looking at all of your social media pages, it's going to reflect and it's going to show, and your fans are really going to see that. Yeah,
I think that's definitely true, and I think that, because I mean, I took the back burner in this community for a while here, because I remember I made a Twitter account called like Torque AC or something, and I no longer use that account, so that's like the only account I had for the Animal Crossing community. But that was, I kind of went in there and I kind of went more for the New Leaf side of things. I didn't really go into the Pocket Camp. Like, I definitely saw it, and I was following a bunch of you guys, and then I just kind of stopped using that account. And now I'm back with like this podcast or whatever, but it's definitely
like
really...
That gameplay just wasn't engaging for you.
It wasn't.
Like you said in your last episode, you know, with, you know, Sims, you have your goals and, you know, you're creating a little bit more meticulously, and there's a lot of different ways to engage in other areas. But with Pocket Camp, you know, we've kind of been making our own challenges and our own design templates and hashtags in between everything that the official Nintendo sites, the official Animal Crossing sites have been doing. And, you know, everybody in our community has responded really receptively towards it, and I'm just so proud of them every day.
Yeah, and I think that, I was about to say that I am really happy with how you guys are doing it, because I've seen a lot of you guys that are just on there all the time sharing pictures. Your campgrounds look freaking fantastic. All of the gardening events, everyone's like, oh yeah, I finished it and stuff. I'm like, I can never get to like the second tier. Like, I really don't play enough, and I think that's just my engagement level, but it's amazing to see that you guys are still into Pocket Camp, because, I mean, personally, I'm not, and that's the reason I'm only, like, level 19 right now in the game, because I just do not play.
Oh my gosh.
I played, listen to this, right?
You're just a baby.
I played, during the Geo Beta, I played in Australia, because, you know, I have an Android, you know, I kind of hacked the system, and I played it for, like, 2 weeks, and I stopped until, like, a couple months ago. Like, I literally, or, like, last month, yeah.
Oh, so you missed out on all
I missed out
stuff.
on literally all of it. I came back for the first year anniversary. So, I mean, yeah, I have an original account, and it's somehow not been shut down. Please, Nintendo, if you're watching this, please don't do that. But I just kind of didn't play. I didn't have an incentive, and I mean, going to New Leaf was definitely my biggest thing. Like, playing New Leaf again is my biggest concern versus Pocket Camp. Because, I mean, yeah, Pocket Camp is fun and all, but it's very small in scope compared to, you know, New Leaf. So I think that's more of my kind of mindset on it.
Right. I'm just really interested to see how, because everything that's hooked up with my Nintendo, how it's going to transition to the app, you know, that we already use for Splatoon gear. And, you know, you can do the voice chats and everything on there. How is that going to transition? How are they going to utilize this feature?
I think that that's definitely something they're going to have to work with. Because I know, like, for example, for Halloween and Christmas now with Splatoon, they've been like, hey, here's a code in our news article or whatever. Click this button if you're, you know, if your card's inserted or if you have it digital. And then, boom, a box pops up right in front of you in the game. It's like, that's a really, I think they could really implement that into Animal Crossing. And that could really work.
Definitely.
So, They could do that for holidays. Be like, for Christmas, for example, here's like, if you do celebrate, here's a Christmas tree. Or Hanukkah, you know, they could put down like, I don't know anything about Hanukkah, but you know, they could put down something.
A menorah.
Yeah, that. I don't want to be like offensive and say the wrong thing. So thank you for correcting me on that. Halloween.
Or a dreidel. Your animals could start singing the dreidel song. I don't know.
Oh yeah, okay. And that goes into another feature I was just thinking about. I remember talking about this with my sister for a long time because she was the one that, you know, you heard. She was the one that started me on Animal Crossing. And I think that making public works projects that are holiday themed or have decorations for the holidays would be amazing, right? So similar to what they have. Yeah, similar to what they have with Pocket Camp, right? Where, for example, the Halloween event, we had like the giant like jack-o'-lantern, you know, statue looking thing and stuff. I think that putting that together and making it to where like even it's just like a temporary thing that if it like came off after the holiday, you know, by itself, that'd be amazing. Or you could make the setting or something, but it definitely.
With that, you even missed out on the actual amenities from the last holiday event. They actually did amenities like the snowboard. It's like a ramp, just like the skate park one, but it's a snowboard one.
Okay,
and
so
they did a
just
few other ones, I think, and they just stopped releasing amenities after that and kind of made it the items you could put in your camp. So a lot of people just kind of stopped going towards amenities in Pocket Camp because they were eventually going to give you that big item that your animal interacted in with anyway.
Yeah, and I think what I'm saying, though, is with, like, New Leaf, that could definitely be something. Because, I mean, they definitely did a good job with the amenities. I do love the amenities in Pocket Camp. But they need something like that for Switch. I'm telling you, they need something that, I guess, like a temporary, you know, decoration or something. Just to make you feel more like... Because for, like, Halloween, all you do is just go talk to villagers, and they give you candy if you scare them and stuff. And you have to play games, and you have to get, you know, furniture. But that's it.
Every Halloween.
There's no decorations. There's no different, you know, activities from other people. It's just the same people dressed up like small versions of Jack that run after you. It's the same thing every year. So once you play that one game or like, you know, that one holiday, it's basically over. So even introducing things like different furniture sets for different holidays each year. So like you could do like the pumpkin set. You could do like the spooky set. You could do a bunch of different sets each different year. So it gives you incentive to play each and every year. Because I think that, for me, I mean, I just started this town this last year in February, so Christmas was like, that was the first one for me so far in that town.
What'd you do?
I mean, I've already played it in the game, of course, but I kind of just...
But every Christmas is special in New Leaf.
True, except for the fact that they're all the same. As long as your villages are similar.
But it's what you make it.
True.
That's always that big argumentative side that, say, you know, at that same point, that same holiday you did last year, what if you redid your town, redid your villagers, redid almost like everything and made it your whole new little look for your new year, and then it was new people that you're going out and celebrating with. Yeah, it's the same event, but that's supposed to be the kind of the point, I think, that, you know, maybe your villagers moved in that year and you got new fun villagers in and you wanted to have a Halloween party with them and invite them over to your house.
Yeah,
and
that's something we're lacking, though.
Right. A lot of people kind of get stuck in what they have and the paths. They're like, it took me 3 months to set these paths. I'm never going to change them again. And that's kind of something that
I think it's good to change them.
The QR system.
Oh my god, it's so slow. And I think that putting down paths, I like how they made it to where, you know, if you change the design in your inventory space, it changed the path inside the town. But if you're like me and all of your paths have edges, so I've got like 5 different QR codes for my pathways. I have to change each and every single one individually, and even then, they're all going to be the same design then if I want to use one that's the exact same along all of them. So I've got 5 spots taken up, and I'm not going through my entire town and redoing every single one if all I want to do is just change the appearance. So that's definitely something.
But what if you changed it to a single path versus, say that's what, a 5-slot path?
Yeah, it's a 5-slot. It's too wide, but it's a 5-slot in my inventory. But I love the pathway. I love the QR. It's got like, it's a brick one, so it's got like little edges and stuff, and it's really cute. So I think it works with Taiyo right now because I have like brick bridges and everything. So everything's like brick. So it looks pretty nice.
I need to come see it.
Yeah, you need to come visit one day. But more along the lines of just having more decorations, because it's not that, you know, the game is boring, you know, with Christmas, because I spent every single day this last Christmas in the game Toy Day, finding out what every single one of my villagers wanted, only to find out that 2 villagers wanted an umbrella and I got them the wrong one. So there was like a lacy umbrella and there was like a yellow umbrella. Graham, who's a guy, wanted the lacy one, and the girl, Hazel, wanted the yellow one. And I was like, okay, that works. You know, it is what it is.
Oh my goodness.
And I think Graham has something to hide because he keeps giving me lacy furniture, lacy clothing and, like, lovely furniture. So he might, you know, maybe
or he's got somebody hiding in his house.
Oh my goodness, what if he does? You should
probably look into that as the mayor.
He's probably pawning off all their stuff to me to try to make it look like I was the one that kidnapped. Oh my goodness. No.
It was you the whole time.
Apparently, yeah. So that's definitely what I mean. It's more of the having decorations, ways to customize, because I know that you can change your pathways, which I do a lot. You can, you know, get your villagers to, you know, have different things. But even like the parties, for example, there's no way in New Leaf, for example, to throw a party. So in the Switch one, maybe you could invite a bunch of villagers over to your house for a certain time, or you could have people visit you as well, like they did in the past games. But having more of that interactivity as well, that goes back to that feature, is definitely
right,
something.
Like the Happy Home Designer interactivity.
Yes. Yeah, and that is also another feature that I'll talk about in just a second with the interactivity. So, well, I'll let you do your feature first, though.
Okay, new feature. Let's see. We talked about that one. More into, I guess more into QR and everything, just the system of that. I know at 8-Bit Inc. kind of mentioned that. Also, a lot of people follow Sweetie Loves. She does a lot of the Discord images and stuff from the data mine, or not Discord images, but she gets the images from the Discord from like Senior Deeds or something like that.
Okay.
And everybody in that link of Reddit. But more hairstyles and clothing, and you know, adding onto that kind of fashion ACPC tag, just really getting into long hair, different ways to do the noses and the face and things like that. In general, it's just so rigid of, you know, who you are in the game.
I gotcha. Yeah. Okay. So are you talking about like the QR codes though, like being changed, or what do you want with those QR codes?
Like the way that you can do fashion and things like that, and how you can do the different dresses and set it up. So
Okay.
kind of, I guess, what you were talking about, how with the sharing earlier, that it's kind of a pain to just go into the town, go into that shop to get the design, or go through the dream address if you're trying to get it. And then on that same sense, kind of changing up the hairstyles, the faces, things like that.
Yeah, I think that what I also would add to that is, I remember Harley was wearing a beard in her town, and she said that she had a brown beard, so she wanted a brown beard in there. And I was like, what if they introduced a way to like dye, you know, more items, or like change more items as well, like furniture, or clothing. They could make it to where you could, you know, take it and get it changed or something, you know, because why would you only have a white beard? What if you wanted just a brown beard in the game, or, you know, wanted a blue beard or something crazy? So I think...
Right, something to match your current hairstyle or what have you.
Yeah, I think that they should definitely introduce more of that, you know, changing of, you know, like through QR codes or whatever. Like, because I know that, for example, the hats in the game, whenever you do like the QR codes and you like make a design and it's, you know, just there, it puts on like this ugly cone hat again from like the original game minus the horns, you know, and it's not very pleasant looking and it's really ugly. So I think introducing more different, you know, you could put on a top hat, or you could put on a baseball cap, or you could do this, or you could do that with your design, would definitely be a nice feature. So I do like that one. Is that all for that feature, or did you have any more for that?
I think that's pretty much it on that one. I think, what was it? The Sweater Squad mentioned constellations, like you can do in Wild World.
Oh, yes, constellations again. Yeah, I missed those, actually.
Those are so cool, and then you can sit there and name them and up at your sky, and it was just another really relaxing way to pass your time.
Mm-hmm. Especially because if you made the constellation, you know, and then, of course, they came in through, you know, certain times of the year. So it could be like December 15th, all of a sudden the constellation you made 6 months ago shows up, and you're like, wow, I forgot I made that. So I think that
it's a nice little surprise in your night sky when you're having your event.
Yeah, because the sky right now is so... I don't want to say boring. I think it's more of just more bland and homogenous than it was with Wild World. I'm not sure about City Folk. Could you do that in City Folk with the constellations? I don't know. But
I don't remember.
I know it. I don't know if you could. I think Wild World definitely depended on the sky the most out of all the games. It really did. Like the entire top screen was just sky the entire time. So I think that that would actually be a good inclusion, but I don't know if people would. I definitely think people would see them, but I mean, like, with how, one screen and having to, like, push the up arrow to get to look at it and stuff, it's definitely not as easy to see as with Wild Worlds, but I think it could still definitely be implemented, because I do like those.
Right, just that whole aspect of the whole museum and everything of that top layer, I thought was really cool too, that they brought into New Leaf. If they kind of integrated that constellations with it, I thought that would have made it that next level, but they always want to leave a few things out that you love.
Yeah, very true, very true. But I guess we can move on to another feature. I mean, my laptop's about to die here, so we're gonna have to hurry up here. Ooh.
Okay.
We probably could go for a little longer here, but going back to what I was saying, I said I was gonna bring this up, was the more interactivity with villagers, and that goes. I'm gonna combine these two because they're both very similar on these ideas. More of like, if you remember from Amiibo Festival and Pocket Camp, how villagers would like sit in the campsite, for example, or they'd sit in their house and they would like read a book, or they'd be cooking, or just sitting down or laying down on the bed, just more actions from villagers would be nice.
The really big posts of Isabel singing or playing the drums and everything right now. I know it's really popular.
Yeah, that's definitely that singing one in the dress. But we need more of that, because in New Leaf, they just stand there, and even if they have a bed right next to them, they'll literally just be sleeping, standing up in the middle of the room, and it's like, okay, what's the point of this bed if you're not going to use it? Like, that makes me wonder.
What's the point of it being there?
I'm wondering, do they just not use their beds and they're just there for appearance? Are we trying to force our human type, bed sleeping activity, whatever, on them? I don't know. We'll figure it out. Well, I don't want to figure that out, actually. But yeah, I want to have more of that stuff, because I think that we could definitely use that, make it more lively. And the other part of this, the other, topic on it, was having more to do in houses and events and stuff like that. So, I mean, that kind of goes back to what we were talking about with, the events being the same every year. I think that, how, for example, with the Roost, right, when you work at the Roost with Brewster, how you have to make coffee for people, I think that kind of mini-game style, or even going back to, like, where you, in the original game where you could play NES games, or in New Leaf when you could play the 3DS one, what is it, Desert Island Escape, and then you could play, like, Puzzle Swap or something. One of them was on the 3DS, one of them was on the Wii U console in the game. I have both of those in my house as well, so. But I don't know if they could introduce more of that into events currently, because I know that a lot of them are just, come visit the town plaza and that's it, and I'll give you some sunglasses and then we'll sit here for 5 minutes and then you leave, and then you can't do anything the rest of the day in the town hall or anything because I'm out here. So I think switching it up and making stuff more, chill and more, I guess, time intensive would be a good word for it, but not too much to where you have to play it all day long, Just kind of switch it up, I think, would be a good way to say it. Not more of just time intensiveness, but more of just switch it up and make it fresh.
Wouldn't it be cool if they got, like, a developer from, what was that game? Like, Cooking Mama? And then you have, like, little mini games with your villagers, almost like little Cooking Mama screens where you can cook with them or do different things.
Yeah, because right now we only have hide and seek outside, right? That's pretty much it. So I think, that could actually work too. So, wow, that's actually a good idea. Yeah, that would be really fun. Oh my goodness. I want more stuff to do with my villagers.
Be interesting.
Dang.
And then you have them, like, at the top, and they're just, like, cheering you on, and you're just sitting there like, I'm baking this cake for you, Isabel.
What if that cake, like, what if it was for a villager or something, and they actually put, like, the slice of cake in their house or something?
That would be really cool, and then you could, like, take it over there or something, or you could, like, box it up and give it to them as a present.
Let's introduce a bakery. No, it's fine. Let's not introduce a bakery.
Oh my gosh.
No.
I love the bakery aspects. Almost all of my designs are, like, random kitchens thrown in there.
Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people love, like, the kitchen style, and I know that I was, like, watching videos, and everyone's talking about they want to be able to, like, farm or bake stuff, and I really do like the idea of baking stuff, because that would be actually a great way to, do something in your house, because there's not much to do in houses as well. So, besides just design them and just, sit there. So I think introducing things like that as well, and that also goes back to the house parties, introducing more ways into the houses to, have more interaction or, to do more tasks. Like cooking would be a really nice introduction to the series. And I think they could definitely implement it in a way that would be really user-friendly and not too complex, but also really fun. So
Right, even like in a simple version, you could look back at some of the old Pokemon games. Whenever you make the berry mixes and everything for the contests,
Oh,
like
yeah,
something
yeah.
like that could be a really simple version of it, all the way to a more complex version, like the Cooking Mama games.
And they could literally turn that into a new, monthly event. You know how we have the fishing tourney and the bug off? What if they introduced, the gardening events, or they introduced like the gyro hunter? They introduced a cook off, just a bunch of really cool different monthly things, because it's the same thing every month. So maybe you could switch it up. Like instead of February having a fishing tourney, you could do a cook off, or you could do like a special seasonal events, like a winter gardening event, or something cool. I think that could really work as well.
Well, and it'd be really cool for them to do just like that. They had similar things like in Happy Home Designer, where you have the big events that everybody was submitting their rooms and everything from that month, and then you saw the big winners or the top 10 that everybody voted on when you got into the Happy Home Designer screen. And it was really cool seeing that every month, and then they just kind of stopped doing it.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of cool before, but now it's they just kind of stopped doing it, didn't they? Yeah, so
yeah,
I mean, that goes back to more, and I think they kind of reintroduced it with Pocket Camp, with here's the tips and stuff, like being more social on, like, including those people, and making it something super awesome to strive for, because a lot of games are built on, hey, try your best and then you can get this award, you could show off your creation to someone else. They need to introduce that again, because it's definitely something that would really step people up on their decorating game, like when it comes to in their house or something. Because, I mean...
Yeah, like you said, that's, I feel like, what Pocket Camp really did that big push for. Like, on the kudos now, it's just a giant tally mark.
Yeah, pretty much.
You get all of your friend powder and everything from your one interactment each when you go through that list, but it doesn't reset. It doesn't really do a lot of updating with it. It just keeps count of how many kudos that you've ever gotten now.
Yeah, and I think that's honestly a really good way to, I guess, keep that aspect, because I have a friend on Pocket Camp that has like 800 kudos, and I'm like, huh? And I have like 2. So, I mean, then again, I haven't...
obviously you haven't seen... Are you friends with a lot of people on the Amino?
Actually, I just started...
Over 1,100, 1,500. I think Harley just passed 1,500.
Oh my goodness, y'all need to chill out.
AJ and I are past 1,100.
Y'all gotta chill. Okay, so... I haven't...
design a lot too, so you have to look at that. Like I said, Sweetie Love, who does a lot of the releases and everything, and you can see it on my Twitter. I just reposted some of the new stuff that we're about to get from her. There's a lot of that. Like her designs, when you look in her little updated picture, it's really colorful, it's really bright, and that's why she has over 1,500, 1,600, kudos already, and it's just, still January. Yeah,
I definitely think that it really depends on how much you build, because I haven't changed my campsite in so long that's not even funny. I really just don't do that.
You need to participate in my challenges, my design challenges.
Oh no, I can only take on one challenge at a time. Don't do this to me. I'm already playing at New Leaf every single day of the year. Okay, this is gonna be painful.
It's a nice combination, you take a little break, you're doing stuff around the house, you're waiting in line for something, you're already on Pocket Camp. A lot of people think that redesigning, rooms, campers, cabins, campsites can be really daunting, but if you just take like 4 or 5 items that you really want to use and just clear off everything else, throw those out there, and then kind of build those up to what you're wanting to do with them, because those are the items you wanted to use. It makes it a lot easier when you're trying to do that, and you get a lot cleaner of a layout than kind of just throwing everything that you want to use all up there at once, or everything you think you might need.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, for me, it's the same thing, because I know that I do that a lot in New Leaf, not so much Pocket Camp, of just, I want to use, this kind of thing. I kind of go in with, like, a mindset of what I want the room to look like, and then I just go from there.
Right.
So I definitely do love decorating in Animal Crossing. I think that's one of my probably favorite things to do in Animal Crossing, is collect furniture and, decorate. And I didn't really do enough of that with this town in New Leaf, Taiyo. I didn't really do too much of that until a few months ago.
But now you will with your new challenge.
Yeah, the challenge is definitely going into that. One part of the challenge is literally just collect all the special furniture you can. Like, that's crazy. I got to play every single holiday nonstop.
Well, you just got the Gracie tuxedo, so it looked really good.
I got a bunch of Gracie. I got like all of the Gracie clothing. I spent like $600,000 on hers, of her furniture and clothing this week. 600,000 bells. Like, oh my goodness, I'm broke. I'm just waiting. The thing is, I had to go to other people's towns for that because I don't have Emporium yet. I just passed my first Gracie fashion check. I'm waiting for her to come to my town because she's slow as heck. So I'm waiting for her to get back to me, and once I do like 3 more of them because they're really easy, then boom. You literally just have to wear like 2 of that special style she wants with nothing that conflicts with it, and you pass. Like, it's really easy. So people,
and then that's usually looking up like some people are like, well, how do you know which ones? Just look up the guide real quick. Just take 2 seconds, get your stuff done all real quick. Don't just try to guess it, or you can even look into it, like when you click into the details, and they'll tell you the themes and everything.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of people, like what you're saying with like that decorating, and people think it's daunting, like, you know, the Gracie checks. Like, people are like, oh my goodness, how do I do that? I think that's one of like the most searched up things when it comes to a New Leaf is like Gracie's fashion check. Like, it's really not hard, and people are like, oh my goodness, it's difficult. Well, the thing is, even if you fail, you can just time travel a day forward and a day back, and then you just redo it. Like, so it's really not that bad. I just gotta wait for her because it's so obnoxious. So, you know.
Speaking of waiting, how did your tree fiasco go?
Wait, what happened with the tree? What, huh?
The one that you were trying to plant, and then it died, and then you planted the other trees.
Okay. So none of these people watching know this. Basically, in Taiyo, there is a spot next to a illuminated clock that's right next to my house. And I had a peach tree there. And what I'm trying to do along my pathways is cut down all the fruit trees and replace them with spruce saplings. And then keep all the fruit trees on the inside, kind of in like a forested area. But I got rid of it. I planted a spruce tree and it died. And I was like, okay, why did it die? You know, whatever. Maybe it was something with the bush. So I planted the peach again, like I told you. The peach tree grew fine. I'm so confused. Like, what? So, I mean, I don't really know. So, like,
it doesn't make any sense. Did the new one grow though, or did it die again?
Yeah, no, it grew. That's what I'm saying. Like the peach tree, the new one grew.
No, the one that I gave you, the spruce and...
Oh, I haven't tried that one. I wanted to try a peach one first, just to see. Mm-hmm. So I think I'm going to if that's the case, I'm just going to keep all those peach trees right there around that clock, and then just do the spruce everywhere else. And it'd be a nice little contrast. So, you know. But out of all the trees, really, a peach tree? I don't want peach trees on my pathways. That's just ew. Booty fruit.
Why? You don't like all the peach girl towns and the peach girl flags and everything?
I mean... It's okay.
I can send you a link for a really pretty beach wallpaper that would accentuate any house near those trees.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. That doesn't go with my theme at all because my Taiyo literally means sun in Japanese. And that's, like, the main thing is because I love, like... I definitely like Japanese culture and, you know, the language. So I just kind of named it that with my sister. And so to put peaches and then try to do, like, the peach, you know, sunset and, like, you know... pretty tones and stuff.
It'll definitely be interesting.
I want to do
a little bit of crossovers.
Yeah, I want to do bright tones. So I'm trying to stick with, like, you know, red, yellow, like just a bunch of really bright, vibrant colors. Even like purple and blue and stuff. Like they're just the vibrant ones. So, but I mean, pink goes into it, but that's also like a bright color. But peaches are like that pale kind of, you know, pastel. And
right.
It kind of throws it off in that section. I mean, of course, it's next to an illuminated pastel-looking clock, so it could work there. But
if you make it a perfect peach tree, then it turns that orange color that could accent your sun.
But that's the issue, though. That's not my town fruit, so a perfect tree wouldn't grow. A perfect peach tree, because I can only grow perfect cherries in my town, since that's my town fruit. So I'd have to stick with that pink peach. So I mean, I do have.
You always take perfect peaches and throw them underneath the trees.
Very true, but those trees are right against the pathway, so I'm kind of crunched on space there. Because I have so I have the roost, and then I have a pond right below and to the right of roost. And then, like, 2 spots over from that pond to the right, I have the clock. And then another 3 spots over, I have my house and a couple other houses. And then 3 spots down from the clock, I have the beach. So it's at the very,
so you're fully layered.
It's super tight and packed in that area. So...
Right.
And that's the thing I'm going for with my town. Is just a lot going on. So I think that could be a really nice inclusion. So I don't know. I'll figure it out, of course, but it is what it is.
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah. Honestly, you got to come check it out. And I will be doing a dream address hopefully soon for any of the viewers who want to come visit my town. I'll put up like something on social media on like the podcast account or something. So just keep an eye out. So it's probably going to be a few months, though, before I can get it out.
Right, because you always want it to be perfect before you upload that dream address.
Yeah, because I need like 300 more bushes before I can upload. So.
Right, I feel you there. I'm all paths right now and no bushes.
Yeah, no, I literally have on my town, and you'll see this whenever you visit. Next to my pathways, I have a bunch of blue, like, galaxy pathways, and those are literally marking where bushes are going to go, and literally everywhere in my town around the pathways has bushes. So,
oh, my goodness.
And I've only got, like, the top left corner next to the town plaza and, like, another section at the bottom right, and kind of in the middle some places. So I'm missing, like, 300 bushes, 250, somewhere around there. So... And the worst
That's an insane amount of bushes.
Yeah.
You better be asking everybody to keep their bushes stored
That's what
up
I'm
for
saying.
you in like a honey pot.
Well, the good thing is that a lot of the bushes I need, like 200 of them, are hibiscus. But I know hibiscus bushes are showing up in town, like in my island, and nobody else's island. Like I've gone like 30 times and I have not seen a hibiscus in like 2 months. So
Weird.
I don't know if the game just hates me and it's like, nah, fam, you have too many bushes, or what. But because I literally played.
We've already given you all the bushes. What more do you want?
Yeah, I literally stole all the bushes they had apparently. But literally, I remember I played like for 10 hours straight getting medals, so I could get like 150 hibiscus bushes the first time. You have to spend like 10 hours a day getting all these bushes, or else you can't play. Like you can't get the bushes. So I just gotta figure it out. But that's pretty much
your commitment there.
Yeah, it's definitely a commitment to keep your town going and upgrade it, make it better.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Do you have any other features you want to share, or is that pretty much the last one?
Okay, I think my last one is a really important one. So you have Switch, so I'm assuming that you have Let's Go right now too.
Actually, no, I do not. I'm waiting for Gen 8. So.
Okay, so a really big feature that came to Let's Go is that you don't have to go back to the Pokemart or the Poke Center to access your Pokebox. You can access it from anywhere. So when you're out shiny hunting or whatever, it makes it really easy for you to access items. Or if you catch a Pokemon but your party's already full, it automatically sends it to the box for you.
Oh, that's so
and then
nice.
You can go into the box and separately access all of that and rearrange your party, and then also go into your party separately. So I think that type of screen, that type of integration brought over to Animal Crossing would be amazing, because I hate going back to my house to put things in my secret inventory.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like that's part of the game, but I feel like if they even, like, for example, implemented like a book bag system where you could just buy that at like the shop for like 10,000 or something, and then it just gave you like another like 40 spaces or something crazy. Just
that
like
would be awesome.
Some way, I feel like that would probably be more of like a reasonable way to introduce it for Animal Crossing, since the game is so focused on move back and forth and just do a bunch of small tasks. I think that buying a backpack and like, for example, with your furniture, being able to customize, or like with the clothing, wanting to customize, you could like customize the backpack and everyone could just like, you would put it on and your character looks super cute. And then you could have like extra spaces.
That would be really adorable. I would actually really like that.
Yeah, I think that'd be...
I was always frustrated by the amount that you have to pay for that, that secret extra storage. But then you don't have access to it anywhere but in your house.
Because I just got that like a couple months ago. Yeah, and I just got that secret storage a couple months ago, so I understand what you're talking about. That's just a pain. It really is, because you have to go to the house. You can't go to the train station. You got to go to your house to get into that secret spot. And with how small the train station and the cabinets are, you kind of have to use your secret storage, or else you can't keep stuff. So
right, and it's not even feasible to try to like keep it in any of your rooms or anything until you unlock your extra rooms at the museum or anything. You would have to sell it and then buy it back out of your catalog. Yeah,
and even then you're taking a loss anyways, because you don't get the same for selling. So it's like...
Exactly.
Unless you try to put it in retail, but it takes so long to do that you're going to run out of space anyways. So definitely introducing more inventory space that you can access, anywhere would be amazing. Because especially with like, when you go to the island and you do like a bug hunt, you're kind of screwed. You just have to hope to God that you can, carry them each and every time. But like I only have space for like 10 bugs that I can carry at a time. Once I'm selling at retail, I have to make 4 trips back and forth because I keep like 6 tools on me at all times. So
and then your beach is like littered with all of the stuff from your pockets while you're trying to exchange all your bugs and go back and forth.
Yeah, really. Like I literally have it set up right now to where I just have 10 inventory spaces open. So I just go 4 times and just do 1 page each time. But that's such a hassle. Think about that. If you put it all in your book bag, you could just take all of it at once and just take it out of your book bag as you're in there and just boom, it's all there.
Right, and they already have like a mini system on our letters. Like, I hope that they keep the letters.
Oh, I love doing that with the letters.
On that aspect, I mean, who keeps, why do you keep all of those letters in your extra storage? You keep them to keep items in them. You don't keep them because you're like, oh, blah, blah, blah sent me this. Like, maybe, one or two of them. But, you randomly have one from Nook Mart or from Red in there just giving you a painting.
Yeah, literally currently I have 10, like my inbox is full. Like I have 10 letters in my inventory just empty in red, just waiting for me to put more stuff in. Like I'm always, like when I go to different towns and stuff, I always put, the items into there or I take them, out. Like I'm always using those letters because there's no inventory space. And that's something I've heard a lot of too, is there's just not enough inventory space. So they got to introduce something.
I hope that they kind of see what other games are doing, and they're really utilizing that because it's really scary when you look at stuff like Fallout 6 and everything, Fallout 76 and everything going on with that online right now.
Oh God, Fallout 76. Ugh, Jesus, that was a rough launch for them, man. I'm telling you.
It's awful. Like just to see how they're treating their players and everything right now too. That you have to, if you've been banned, you have to write an apology letter.
Huh?
Why you're never going to try to customize the game again. And then they read it and they have the stipulation to say, no, we didn't like your letter. And you're like, I wrote it though. Like, well, so it didn't mean anything to us.
So you're saying in that case, they're banning you for modding the game that the past games have allowed you to mod?
Yeah.
Huh.
On the online now because they have the loot boxes and everything introduced to it. So but there's so many streamers and so many YouTube channels that are really upset about this because that's what their game has always been about. And now with the online feature, with you always being on there, somebody's always on the server, they can easily make these items limited edition or it comes into the shop on sale. What sense does that make? You made the market. Why not just make it lower or make it easily accessible for your players?
Yeah. And I think that with going into like Animal Crossing, I think that's what makes that game so amazing compared to like games like Fallout 76. They're not story driven. They're just you do whatever you want. There's no shoot this enemy to kill them. It's literally just, hey, if you want to take 3 years to pay off your home loans, do it. If you want to take 5 months to pay off your home loans, do it. It's literally all up to you. It's basically just a giant like game that has mods in it basically. Especially with the public works projects, you just put them wherever you want. Of course, if you can fit them into wherever you want to put them. So I think that's one of the best things for Animal Crossing. I think that's what really sets it apart. And I think that's really what's going to sell a bunch of systems in the long run. So
for sure. And just hopefully they really see that we want all of these extra items. We want all of these extra accessories. Like the need, the demand is here. Just supply it. Bring us what you got, Nintendo, because we've seen your last launches, and actually, who has seen them? Some people have not seen your previous launches. Yeah. So with this being Animal Crossing Switch, I just pray that it is absolutely huge, blown out of the water.
Yeah, I really do, and I think that's one of the biggest things they'll do. I think with the Switch, that's definitely something they love to do. They love to just advertise the heck out of everything, and I'm looking through their Twitter again, and I'm seeing a bunch of information again. Like right now, they're posting about Final Fantasy 12. They're talking about Final Fantasy 10, other games that are coming out. Like they are tweeting so many things right now. So maybe there is going to be an Animal Crossing Switch Direct. I don't know. I really hope, but I think that they will.
If not January, then February. I think there for sure will be some type of gameplay leak for it because they did that before with Pocket Camp. They had that mini one, that little series, like you said, where they trickled it all out.
Yeah, I remember watching that. Yeah, that was actually a really nice layout, and I think that would be a really great way to introduce the new game. And of course, it is one of those big games. Like there are people at the Nintendo New York store that were just dying whenever they saw the Animal Crossing reveal. Like there were people with like amiibo like figures and stuff. Like what the heck? People brought in Isabelle amiibo figures, to wait for the Animal Crossing launch, and everyone was talking about it. So I think they definitely need to cater to this. They need to give us these extra items. They need to give us these extra features if they want this to get them to sell 20 million units, because I think this is probably one of their best bets at selling those 20 million units, honestly.
For sure.
So, I mean, but I don't think we have any more features. Actually, I do have one small one. Sorry, I lied. This was going back to interaction with villagers and events, which we kind of already briefly talked about this, but having more events where villagers participate. So what I mean by that is, like, you remember how, like, or I guess you know about this, where it's New Year's Eve or whatever, and everyone's doing like the fireworks, and all of your villagers that are outside literally come to the plaza and stand there around with you. Having more of that,
right, and
that
then you're
interaction,
kind of, holding your fireworks and everything, and they're just kind of like, oh yeah, New Year.
Yeah, having that interaction. Well, I mean, having interaction like that, though, even just making them included in something. If they're not going to make it better with, more challenges from the villagers, like, for example, in bug-offs or fishing tourneys, then at least do some more interaction like that. Being able to just be there with your villagers. Because being there with villagers is still 10 times better than just being there by yourself. Because if I was just there at the plaza with Isabel and Red by myself with the countdown, I'd be like, oh my goodness. But that's
where I think they've already kind of come, because now in Pocket Camp you have those little cut screens where you'll be doing something or you'll be making something, and they're really now for me, because a lot of active players kind of have hit their cap when they want to level villagers anymore. That's the kind of last thing that we're doing in the game. I've been level 123 for a while now because I just have been too lazy to level up my villagers.
Yeah.
But it's kind of the same cut screens. They've updated a few things. They've changed the hot cocoa from your little smoothie drink that was on the beach and everything, but everything else is still kind of the same. It's the same engagement. So I feel like everybody who wanted those engagements kind of got them when Pocket Camp came out, but then we're like, all right, what now? That's the same thing we've been seeing for over a year now.
I've seen the same ones, like, oh, we did like a cookout or something. I've seen like that one, for example, like 20 times in only like 3 months of gameplay. So I think that they definitely need a wider variety. They need them to be more event-based, like holiday-based, just a huge amount of those interactions, because that's one of the biggest things I think that Animal Crossing is lacking to this day, is not only having those interactions but making them unique, because Pocket Camp has those interactions, but there's only so many you can see before you just start recycling the same ones every single time. So, and I've seen most of the interactions, so I think introducing more of those and bringing those ones over to Switch, but also trying to do some that are in the house or some that are outside, like in a certain area or due to an event or a holiday, I think that could really work out. So, I mean, that's my last feature. I'm not sure if you have any more features. If you do, feel free to say them real quick before we end this off.
I just agree with everything you just said on that, and I think that bringing it over to the Switch and a console that's primarily, about online gameplay and a lot of stuff like that, it's going to be that next level that we've been looking for, and I'm just really excited to see how they do it, especially if it updates the way that Splatoon does, with all the maps updating and the events and the different clothing and everything like that. If they use any of those type of levels to step up their engagement, I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, and that's where, because I remember I made a concept or something, like, I don't know if I think you already saw it. I made the concept of like Animal Crossing Switch, like the inventory. But I put like
I saw that. I really liked it.
I put a level system on there, right? And people were super like, okay, so someone like shared it in a Discord server, and I looked at it and they were saying, oh, this is so stupid. Like, why would you introduce levels? Like, why would you lock stuff behind a paywall? And I don't think that the level system is for that paywall or for, exclusive things. What I meant by the level was that as you play more and as you interact with more villagers, your level goes up, and so, with those villagers, and you unlock different interactions with them, right? Because you're not gonna, in real life, you're not just gonna immediately go to someone's house and visit the second you meet them. You're going to work for that and work your way up to being like best friends with them, and it gives you something to, because what do we talk to villagers for right now in New Leaf and Pocket Camp is an example, but in New Leaf we just talk to them to either get new public works projects
and unlock things,
interactions, public works projects, and to keep them from moving out. It's pretty much the only reason I talk to my villagers, to be honest, even though I love them to pieces. But they say the same thing every single time. So giving a level system would make it to where you don't unlock certain exclusives, but you kind of mold relationships with certain people. And for example, if your level system was higher on one villager, they're less likely to move out because the mayor is best friends with them. even if you don't play for a
Right.
few months. Whereas someone that's like level 2 on their, interactivity with you, with their friendship level, would definitely move out if you didn't talk to them. You got to work for it. So I think that would be a great way to introduce that. And I think that's where people were confused on my concept. People were like, oh my goodness, why would you introduce levels? That's so stupid. And I was like, that's not what I'm talking about. Like, it's fine.
No, I think that's a great idea. I've noticed with everything with the Discord server, like, they're always just, like, the next level, like, crazy. And I'm just like, okay, y'all need to calm down. Like, we're just over here on Twitter just trying to share and be cool with everybody. Just chill. That's what the game is about. Just chill. Yeah. And I think that level of working towards it is a great way to reward people like us, the really active players, that really get excited about those things. And it doesn't deter your everyday player or, the one that wants to pick it up once a week. You're still going to unlock things. You're still going to get those achievements. You're still going to be able to play, your regular gameplay you like in New Leaf. But for those people who do like to play every day and like to play avidly and like to make their designs, that would be a great thing to have something to work towards every day or just to just be constantly updating.
And that's the thing as well with that level system. It's less focused on how much you play, but how many times you talk to your villagers. So I could play every single day a week and not talk to my villagers, and I could be a lower level than someone plays once a week and talks to the villagers nonstop. It's very based on how much you talk to them. So it's not so much of how much time you have to play, because someone brought that up. They're like, well, what if you don't have time to play? It's not based on that. It's based on how much you're willing to interact with your villagers. So I think that's probably the biggest thing for me. I guess I thought the level system was a good idea, honestly. I don't, it is what it is. So
I like it.
Yeah, at least one person does. And I mean, I got a decent amount of support on it, which is really nice to see, especially because I know people are so hyped for this game. So making that...
It was definitely really interesting to see it. When I saw it, it made me double take, and then I had to go back, and I was like, how did I miss this on my feed?
Yeah. And people were like, oh my goodness, this looks official. I'm like, not really. I mean, everything on there was made from scratch by me. It took 2 hours of my life. But you'd be surprised how simple it is to make Animal Crossing art. It is so simple. It's just time consuming.
Right.
That's where I think that this is one of those games where it doesn't take as much time to, design this artwork or, because it is such a simplistic style, that they've definitely been working on it for a while. And if that is the case with how Animal Crossing is, they probably have a lot of features in store for us. And I think that's a good way to end off this episode. It's definitely coming soon. They've definitely been working on it for a long time. What do you think about that, honey?
They've been working on it for a hot minute, and we're ready for it.
Yeah, definitely ready for it. I think that's about all we've got today. I mean, that's the end of this episode. If you guys did enjoy, if you're listening on Spotify, please follow this podcast and share it with all your friends. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and like it, subscribe, comment, tell us what you thought down below. And of course, until next week, whenever I upload, I will see you guys next time. Without further ado, bye-bye.